especially when it's like 2 or 3%. Interesting. Once again with kings, this time in early position, and we make it 2. And we get called by just about the whole table, it seems. Wow. 4 villains. And you've got kings, so you've got to feel pretty terrible about this flop. I mean, I don't know if at 50 no limit back then everyone was set mining. I mean, everyone's set mines now, but yeah, you just can't feel good about this. So what a ridiculous flop. All 10s. So this does happen, and it's an interesting situation. So if you're sitting with 5s, you can't feel good because any pocket pair bigger than 5s or anyone with a 10 has you beat. And I see people make that mistake and they just think, full house, like, good, I am getting it in. And that's a terrible mentality to have, because it really is likely against 4 other players that a bigger pocket pair like kings is out there. Is it likely that someone has a 10? Not really. So, I don't know, I guess you want to tread the water a little lightly with the kings, but you got to feel good about your chances. I mean, only aces or a hand with a 10 beat you, but against 4 other players, you got to be like, eh. So check, check, and the bet's fine, but I probably would have gone full pot now. You know, we want to get people out of this and really expose the 10. If someone just shoved over the top, it'd still be a tough, maybe crying call here, but that's called, folded, fine. In the 6, and I mean, nothing's changed. I think another pot bet here is totally appropriate, and I really hate the bet sizing there. We're either betting for value or we're betting as a bluff, and here we're doing neither. We flopped a boat. We've got a great hand. Chances are he's maybe even playing high cards. He certainly has no draws, and most likely, I mean, my read is that he's got a pocket pair under kings, whether it's 8s or 9s, makes a lot of sense. And he might just be playing along, and we're gonna just, you know, drive our car at 80 miles per hour straight into a wall because he's got a 10. But I think that's unlikely. So he calls. I really would have, I mean, pot it, you know, 20 bucks. I think that's appropriate. So now there's 50 bucks in the pot. A 3 comes off. So either he hit a pair of 6s, a pair of 3s, which doesn't help him, right? It's 10s over kings and 6s over 10s. Right. So again, nothing's changed, and he hasn't really shown much aggression. He's just kind of, you know, called. So it doesn't smell fishy at this point. So I'm just go ahead and get it in, and that's fine. And he shows queens. Wow. So real surprising he didn't 3-bet, but we see again he's only 3-betting 2% of the time. So that's pretty much aces, kings, and ace-king in certain situations. So not too surprising, but the hand kind of played itself out. This is an interesting hand. And basically we've got 7s on the button, and a lot of people will set mine under any circumstances, and I call them suicide set miners. And despite whatever odds they might be getting, even if it's just terrible odds, you know, you're looking for 10 to 1. But sometimes they don't care. You 3-bet, you know, in this situation on a 25-50 cent table, you'll 3-bet to $12 and they'll call set mining. And those people are great. And you know, fantastic. Occasionally they'll hit, well, 1 out of 10 times, right? But you don't want to be that player, is basically the situation. And so when you're in the blind and you've got a small pocket pair like this, you really just don't want to be set mining against one guy out of position, because you really can't. It's just too hard and too ridiculous to win a hand outside of when you hit a set, and then it becomes apparent that you did. But if you're multi-way, it's just fine, as we'll see in this hand. So let's examine this hand. Under the gun Razor, who's a 14-8, so we're putting him on some pretty good cards there. Gets called, and this is what we like to see. When we've got a pocket pair in the blinds and we see it's going to be massively multi-way, we're getting huge implied odds to call. Oh, good. He's coming along. Everybody comes along. We're certainly making a call here. And lo and behold, not too surprising, I hit my set, because obviously if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be seeing this hand, right? So Queen 7-3. You don't want to donk out here. Let this under the gun raiser, who's probably playing aces, kings, hopefully not queens, or ace king, maybe jacks, but probably aces or kings, make his bet and just go ahead and do a check raise here. Instead, I donk out, which I don't really like. Especially if the board's not dry. If it's a dry board, a lot of players, especially if they're aggressive, will interpret that as I'm betting my draw. However, there are no draws here. And so you can only interpret this as I hit a set. And so be wary of that when you're like this in a hand. You might want to go ahead and raise, to 12, and then if you get a raise, like you know you can just get away with this if you don't have a set yourself. So he goes ahead and raises. And we're just working to get it in here. And that's fine. The 3-bet's fine. And then he flats, which is just stupid. The ace comes, which we're not too happy to see, but at this point we're getting it in. I don't know why I didn't just go ahead and bet 27.50. Because he only has 23. So it's kind of a cold-blooded bet. It's like, I know exactly how much you have, and I'm betting it. Grr, So, do I like it? I don't know. Just go all in. He goes ahead and calls and shows ace-queen, which is kind of surprising. But I guess he's just the kind of nit that only looks at his cards. Oh, I hit top pair, top kicker. This guy's donking into me with this, pair of 8s or something. And just wouldn't let it go. And certainly when he hit, top 2 on the turn, it's a bit of a cooler for him. And he's not drawing well at all. I'm a 90-10 favorite, and I hold up. So those are some good situations. Maybe we got time to look at one more hand. Okay, we got our last hand of the video, and we got 10s on the cutoff. And we got a raise here from a 13-7, but he folds to 3-bet 67%. And with 10s, I don't necessarily like to set mine here with 10s behind. I mean, I think it's a real good move here to go ahead and 3-bet. But I have a feeling I just called to set mine or play the hand, whatever it might be. And so 3 to the flop, and I hit top set, so that's always good news. This guy bets out really weakly, which is weird. He's c-betting only 36% of the time. Okay, so basically he needs to either have a pocket pair or connect with the flop in order to make a c-bet. I mean, the math works out almost exactly for that scenario. And on this, so it makes me feel like he's got like aces, or he hit like a set of 7s or 4s. So I go ahead and raise. I really think you should just raise this up. Go ahead, because I really feel like this guy's totally committed to his hand. I don't like the raise amount. Certainly that's not enough. It should have been like 455. And he goes ahead and flats. The 2 really didn't change anything for anyone. And this time he checks. Which is too bad, because you hope he would have fired again there, just donk, but that didn't happen. But you've got to get value. Betting for value is the key. That's not it. $6. He min raises, and I guess at this point you're just getting it in, and he shows 7s. So that's that. Hopefully you learned a little trick to 50 no limit and some good hands. This has been Sean for TightPoker.com.